Mark Oxer, and this is my creative reflection response for week three of the DMin 890 and E course that I'm taking in the summer of 2025. And I have titled this response, The Helper's Tension, Fixing versus Feeling. So to answer the question of what is the natural strength, for me, it's open questions. And this has maybe not what initially was naturally to me, but over the last probably 20 years or so of spending in professional coaching, I've had a lot of opportunity to work with people, and then also a lot of influence from the world of psychology as we get a lot of psychological training in the field of coaching. And so these open questions invite dialogue, natural reflection, and some emotional depth without forcing a direction to the conversation. A couple of examples would be what's weighing on you lately? Can you give me more about that experience? Another one that I do is just asking people how they're doing, but not like a how's your day kind of thing, just as we would do in North America, where you just kind of like, hey, how's it going? Yes, good, great, and move on to life. But usually prefacing it with something like, oh, hey, I noticed that maybe your squats weren't going as well today as they normally do. Is there something going on, or is there something that you wanted to talk about? And in those situations, I've had some really dynamic responses over the years, even within the past month. There was an athlete that I was coaching at the gym, and I just noticed that between his sets, he was a little bit more somber than he usually is. He's usually sort of very charismatic and engaging and joking and with the other athletes in the session, and he was a little bit more subdued. And so I just said, "Hey, like, is everything okay?" He stood up and he looked at me face to face, and he just said, "No, my marriage of several years is falling apart, and it's not going well at all, but I'm coming here because this is a place where for 1 hour I can be with people who care about me. I can work on myself and I can sort of shut out everything else that's going on." And then he, as his tears were rolling down his face, he just said, "I need to take a minute." And he just kind of walked away. And I appreciate those moments and that the opportunities that the I have with these athletes, and that through the time spent together with them in a relationship, they feel the openness to be able to respond to those open-ended questions in a meaningful way. I have since had more dialogue with the athlete about that, but just one example of how these open-ended questions allow for athletes to share with really what's going on in their life and not just like, yeah, it's good, but to be real in their answers. And as this aligns with what the Hill is talking about, these questions convey interest, reduce defensiveness, and build relational safety. The personal challenge that I have is not fixing something too soon. So, coming from an elite sport background, my instinct is to diagnose and fix problems. One of the things that I've been complimented on as a coach is, hey, Mark, you're able to really recognize very quickly what's not working and provide a solution that can fix the problem very quickly. And in the world of high performance sport, this is very good because winning matters. And if something's not working and you can make the shift and you can get the win, then people like that. On the flip side, one of the things that I've been told as a coach is, hey, coach, can you once in a while just give us feedback and let us know that we're doing a good job? Because a lot of my feedback tends to be towards that fixing aspect of things, and people still want to hear that they're cared about, which brings me to one of the points that I have listed here and how it relates to pastoral care, in that no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And despite having a lot of years in professional sport and a lot of educational background and being possibly able to help somebody, it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody's going to be willing to accept my help until they know that I truly care about who they are as a person and that I'm invested in them as a person and not just trying to fix something. This is not a transactional mechanic uh, to a car relationship. This is person to person. And so in pastoral care, it's important to have this emotional exploration. Um, so that it doesn't hinder relational depth. And so the insight taking away from this is understanding that holding space is not weakness, it's wisdom. And not every problem needs a solution right away, and that there is opportunity to sit with that. And so, what does that look like going forward for me in real life? What is that piece here? And one of that things that I've kind of come up with in thinking about this is a spotter in the gym. So I currently spend a lot of time coaching powerlifting classes. And within the sport of powerlifting, we are fairly consistently near the peak end of performance for heavy lifting. And we use spotters when we're doing that because we want to make sure that people are safe. But the spotter doesn't lift the weight with the athlete unless there is failure, unless the athlete is not able to do it on their own. But what really resonates or sits with me is that the spotter is close and that the spotter is attentive and that the spotter is ready. And just as an aside, one of the things that we live with in the gym is that you're never the most important person in the gym. So if I'm the spotter for an athlete, the most important person for me as the spotter is the athlete because my attention and focus needs to be on them. Now, if I'm the lifter, or then my most important person for me is the person that's standing behind me and spotting, because if I can't make the lift, I need to be able to rely on them to help me. So we live by this mantra in the gym that you're never the most important person in the gym, and we're always putting each other first. Um, and it kind of has this mindset here. As the other piece to that is that a spotter provides confidence without control and presence without pressure. And it's been really interesting to see this played out in real life as well. Is that in sometimes athletes will say, "Hey, Coach Mark, can you come over and spot me?" And then I go over and spot them, and I am 100% not needed. They make the lift so well, so easy. And I asked them, I was like, "So did you just come over here because you wanted me to like be within really close proximity to watch you do a really good squat?" And they're like, "No, it gives me confidence when you're here." And so that has really sat with me as well, in that that presence without the pressure also can give people confidence. And so, what does that look like in pastoral care? I want to aim to be that same spotter in ministry and pastoral care, being patient, being observant, being steady, being present, being attentive, and being close, but without the need to fix, allowing them to work through it but being there beside them. And so trust builds not when I fix things, but when I stay close and when I care. So, how does that look forward? How do I live into that going forward? My journey would need to include unlearning the impulse to fix and grow in the capacity to sit with the discomfort. And admittedly, this is not something that's going to be simple for me. I'm not a patient person. And in a lot of areas of my life, that has helped me be successful. But I also understand that within relationships, that is something that I need to work on, and especially when we're looking at it from a caring, relational perspective. So, learning to be present, and that this is not just a psychological concept, but it's a theological commitment. And it's not just a pastoral skill. When we look at scripture, Jesus asked questions a lot of the time, and um, he offered back questions before providing an answer. So we need to look at that as well. So Jesus often answered questions by asking further questions so that he could really sort of dig in and get to understand the relationship and build on that relationship. And so digging into that is what I will be looking to be trying to direct myself into moving forward. So, with the reference here from Hill that we have, that's what I have as my creative response to week 3 of the DMin course for the summer of 2025.